The following portion of Showcase is sponsored by Trustice Law Group. Divorce can be messy, and if you're not getting the right legal help, you might not actually be getting what you deserve. Well, joining us today for what you need to know is our friend Shameka Rhoades, CEO and managing attorney at Trustice Law Group. Shameka, what is the first thing that somebody actually needs to understand before filing for divorce in Virginia?
They need to understand that their situation is not the same as someone else's. Everyone comes in and goes, well, my friend told me that they filed for divorce and it only took this amount of time and it only cost this amount of money.
I saw on TikTok that this
Yes!
It's not like that.
Every divorce is different because the people in them are different. So even if you've been through a prior divorce, it's going to be different because the people involved in this divorce are different.
So does that mean that we need to document things in a different way, or what do we need to do to prepare for that moment?
So the first thing that people should do is know where you are going and what you want.
Okay.
I've met so many people who don't know who their mortgage provider is. They don't know how their mortgage is paid. They don't know what bank accounts they have because they let the other spouse just do everything. So the first thing is knowing what you have and knowing what it is that you want. And then I tell people to be realistic about what they want.
So what does that mean as far as like being realistic?
It is not saying I want everything and I want my spouse to have nothing.
Okay.
That is very unrealistic.
Right.
Or saying that because my spouse was a terrible spouse, I want them to have no custody and they can only visit the child with me as a supervisor. That's unrealistic. And so when people come in, I like to sit them down and go through realistic expectations.
I've heard people say that they want to wait till a certain time period or a certain season in order to file. Does that actually make a difference in this?
It doesn't. And a lot of times it depends on sort of the situation of the families. If the parties are trying to come to some resolutions to say, okay, we're going to file at this time because it's a better time for our child, then that's a good thing for them. But if it's, I'm going to wait until, December because I think the courts will be nicer to me at that point, that's
not how it works.
No, it's not how it works. And they don't really care what time of the year it is.
So as far as the day that it officially happens when someone files, what goes down that day?
So what would happen is they would file a complaint for divorce with the court, and then the court is going to process and do all the things they have to do, and the other party is not served that day. They will be served at a later date, maybe a week or two, and then they will have a chance to respond to the complaint.
Okay, so a little bit longer than people think. It's not an immediate action.
It is not
right
immediate.
Away.
And people seem to think divorce is going to just happen within a month or two. It doesn't.
Okay, so more time is needed, which also I guess is a good thing if you're trying to plan, like you said, that there's a lot of things that you really need to get together before. So again, tell us some of the things that you would need to plan ahead before filing. Why does that make a difference?
So the first thing is planning ahead, knowing sort of what the finances of your family are if that is an issue. Knowing where you're going to live if you're going to move out of the marital residence, or if you're going to want to stay, how are you going to pay for it if it still needs to be paid for? Like, those are major things. And then if there are children involved, knowing how we're going to handle that, like what you want the custody and visitation to look like for those children, and where they're going to be living, school zones, like those are things to be thinking about beforehand.
And to your point, it's not just if someone was a bad person in the marriage, it doesn't mean that you get to choose your way for how everything is going to work out. So you need to really get some more plans together.
Exactly. And you need to have I tell people to have a best case scenario, a better case, and then a worst case scenario, to have all those things written out so that when you do go talk to an attorney, you can let them know what you're looking for.
This is great advice. I think people are learning a lot of things they may not have known beforehand. So if you want to find out more about Trustice Law Group, you can go online to trustice.us, follow on social media. You can also scan that screen right there, the QR code, to schedule your consultation as well. The preceding portion of Showcase was sponsored by Trustice Law Group.